This short video from Safe States Alliance shares information on key features of the recently updated Core Competencies for Injury and Violence Prevention. Welcome. My name is Kristen Lindemer. I am a program manager at Safe States Alliance. I coordinated the process for Safe States to update the original Core Competencies for Injury and Violence Prevention in 2025. And many years ago, I participated in the work group that crafted the original competencies in the early 2000s. This is the third short video about the updated core competencies. Make sure to listen to the other two about why and how the competencies were updated. So let's look at key features of the updated core competencies. Given that the field of injury and violence prevention is inherently broad and its collective workforce includes many disciplines, the revised core competencies are intended to be relevant and useful to injury and violence prevention efforts in multiple settings, including state, local, and tribal health departments, hospitals, community-based organizations, and other prevention partners, as shown in this ecosystem graphic from Safe States. Injury and violence prevention practitioners can tailor the updated competencies and subcompetencies to their unique settings, purposes, capacities, and programmatic or policy goals. For individuals whose role is not entirely injury and violence prevention focused, the updated core competencies can still help to inform the injury and violence prevention parts of their work. This ecosystem graphic also nods to another key feature of the updated core competencies, the incorporation of upstream approaches. Taking an upstream approach to primary prevention, or working upstream, involves recognizing the impact of social drivers of health on overall health, well-being, and quality of life outcomes. These include access to and quality of housing, education, transportation, or food, for example. And all of these are reflected here as in the potential partners in this ecosystem. So working upstream is a fundamental part of injury and violence prevention. This approach is incorporated throughout the updated core competencies, as it is relevant to each of the 8 domains. Next, the table here presents how the 8 domains in the updated core competencies for injury and violence prevention align with the 8 domains of the core competencies for public health professionals. This alignment can help public health, injury and violence prevention, and other disciplines identify shared prevention, scope, and functions, and use common workforce development benchmarks based on knowledge and skills across different roles and disciplines. While the updated core competencies are organized around the domains of the core competencies for public health professionals, the revised competencies and subcompetencies are uniquely injury and violence prevention focused and differentiated from the broader public health or other discipline-specific competencies. So content that may overlap with or be similar to other competency sets was adapted to reflect specific application to injury and violence prevention. To be relevant to the broad multidisciplinary injury and violence prevention workforce now and in the future, the updated core competencies were expanded to include competencies in leadership, systems thinking, succession planning, and informatics, for example. A new feature of the updated core competencies is the use of 3 tiers to create and organize sub-competencies. Each of the 8 domains has multiple competencies, and each competency has multiple subcompetencies presented across 3 tiers. They are shown here in yellow shading: foundational, intermediate, and advanced. The tiers are knowledge and skills-based and do not reflect years of experience or supervisory level. They increase in complexity across each category. This approach reflects the reality of many injury and violence prevention practitioners, whose main role may require intermediate or advanced competency, while other job functions may only need foundational knowledge. With knowledge and skills-based tiers, competencies relevant to specific job roles can be easily updated when funding or programmatic needs shift. So here's an example of how the three tiers of foundational, intermediate, and advanced create and organize the subcompetencies. This slide shows the first domain, the science and practice of injury and violence prevention. Here's another example of the three tiers used in Domain 3, which focuses on program planning and evaluation. As noted in one of our other short videos, one concept that hasn't changed between the original and updated core competencies for injury and violence prevention is the underlying assumption that a person working in this field is not expected to be an expert in all competencies and subcompetencies. Rather, a person should be competent in the mix of knowledge and skills that is required to best serve injury and violence prevention, given their role in their setting or community. And finally, even if someone has advanced competency in some areas, their learning and professional development should not stop. The flexible mix of knowledge and skills throughout each domain helps individuals identify areas for improvement and continue to build, enhance, or change their injury and violence prevention competencies over time. The importance of this continued development is also reflected in several competencies in Domain 4, shown on the slide here. Thanks for taking time to learn more about key features of the updated core competencies for injury and violence prevention. You can access the updated competencies and other related resources using these links.